Shakespeare once wrote in Romeo and Juliet, "What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name would smell as sweet." So if there's any kids watching, I'd like all the kids to come as close as you can to the screen. Yeah, get really close. Don't stand in the back or anything. I know there's kids out there. So get close to the screen, and I need you to do something so that you can really help me there. So I hope that I can count on your help during this homily. And this is what I need you to do. I need you to say your name as loud as you can. Okay, so I'm going to count to 3, and I want to hear your name, like shout it as loud as you can. Are you guys ready? Bring all the kids as close as you can, and I want to hear your name. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I can't hear a thing. We got to do it again. All right, so I know you can shout your name. Everybody knows their name, okay? And I need to hear it. Are you guys ready? I'm going to count again. 1, 2, 3.
Thomas.
There we go. Good job. All right, but even get louder. We'll do it one more time. And this time, I just want to hear it like it's going to blow me away. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thomas.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. That's what it's all about. This one guy, Dale Carnegie, said, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and the most important sound in any language. Today we hear about Jesus calling out Mary's name. And in the same vein, in the beginning of the scriptures, we hear St. Peter talking about baptism. At baptism is where we truly get our name imprinted into our hearts, minds, and souls sacramentally. And it begs the question, do you need a Christian name, a saint's name, in order to be baptized? About a year or two ago, I'm not going to use the name of my one cousin that wanted to baptize their name something that was, well, probably not in any Christian thought ever. So the priest who was doing this, which wasn't me or my dear cousin, said, that doesn't count. You got to get another name. And I just thought that was so cool. It makes parents kind of reflect on like why the name they gave to their child. And it says in canon law that parents, sponsors, and parish priests are to take care that a name is not given that is foreign to Christian sentiment. So things that are according to Christian sentiment would be like Joseph, Rita, or that crazy name you heard in the background, Tom, right? Or my name, John and Francis, and then my other name, Patrick. So those all kind of do it. But like things that wouldn't be according to Christian sentiment, or hearing again from Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare, my only love sprung from my only hate. So what are those things that seemingly hate Christianity or are the opposite of our Christian faith? Well, names like Lucifer, Hitler, or Tom Brady. See, these are all names that come against the basic essence of goodness. And if you think back to it, especially other names that just should throw us into this crippling, just no, this can't be true, would be like Bonds, Barry Bonds, as in he can't throw out a crippled Sid Bream in the bottom of the ninth against the Atlanta Braves. Or Neil, as in 2-interception Neil O'Donnell, who's the first time the Steelers lost a Super Bowl to somebody because he couldn't throw a darn pass. Or Flyers, as in Philadelphia. Never. Those names should just be furthest from us. Those do not have anything to do with Christian sentiments with all. Or worse of all, or maybe even just as bad, is Hossa, as in Benedict the Arnold Hossa, Marion Hossa, who betrayed the Penguins and then played against us. But at any rate, all these names are names that we need to just, distance ourselves from. In 1917, the code of canon law that was in place before the 1983 one, it actually encouraged, on the positive sense, pastors to use Christian names. And that's where we get the tradition of using middle names, especially because sometimes parents weren't capable of a Christian name, and so the priest would insert a Christian name. My grandmother, she's been going through all the names of her children. And what inspired me so much as she was going through all the names is that she had 13. So you don't have to worry about like running out of Christian names. If my grandmother didn't run out of names, you won't run out of names when you have children either. But what I do like is all of these names had something behind it. Namely, that the goal of life is to get to heaven. So when we have kids, when there's kids, It's like, well, what's your goal for your child? Wouldn't the greatest gift that you could possibly hope for your child is to get to heaven and live eternally with Jesus Christ and all the saints? So by having his name be claimed by somebody who got there already is already giving him or her that pathway to heaven. So, I was in Mexico one time, and one of the families named their child Usnavi. And I was like, that's interesting. I thought, maybe it was some saint that had an Indian background type of name, or anything like that. And they said, no, Usnavi is what's written on the side of the U.S. ships, U.S. Navy, Usnavi in Spanish. So those are the types of things we want to avoid, but what we do want are the names like Jesus used for Mary, Mary. Can you imagine if the sweetest name that we can hear, the sweetest word in the language, is our name? How much sweeter is that name going to sound when it comes off the lips of Jesus Christ in heaven?